Sudan is collapsing. 2 years of war, millions on the run, cities destroyed, and the people are starving. This isn't just a political war, it's a human catastrophe. Hello everyone, this is Muhammad Anfas and you're watching GeoLens. Today we're going to talk about the war that's happening in Sudan, why is it so brutal, and what does it mean for the world. The conflict in Sudan began in April 2023. On one side, there is Sudanese Armed Forces, SAF, led by Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, and on the other side, there is Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, RSF, led by Mohammed Hamiti Dagalo. What began as a disagreement on the future of the military turned into a full-scale civil war. Both groups once worked together, but they split over how to integrate the Rapid Support Force, RSF, into the national army. That divide spiraled out into fighting across many parts of the country from Khartoum to Darfur and Kordofan. And this fight isn't just about the military power, ordinary people have suffered the most. Today, Sudan is facing one of the worst humanitarian crises in the world. According to the UN, more than 30.4 million people need urgent help, and that's way more than half of the country's population. Displacement is huge. Over 11 million people are internally displaced, and more than 3 million people have fled to the nearby countries. Food has become a real emergency. Around 25 million people face acute food insecurity, and famine has been confirmed in some areas, especially Darfur and Nuba Mountains. Meanwhile, health systems are collapsing, hospitals in the war zone are no longer operating, women and the girls are the most vulnerable. Hospitals are shut, and access to maternal care is almost non-existent. For children, things are even worse. UNICEF says more than 15 million children need humanitarian assistance, double the number at the start of the war. But why is it so hard to help the people? Why isn't enough aid reaching to the people in need? Number one problem is the access. Humanitarian organizations say that the warring groups, they sometimes block or delay the aid convoys. Number two is the lack of infrastructure. Roads are destroyed, markets are gone, and supply lines are broken. Number three is the funding problem. So the UN's 2025 appeal for Sudan wants to raise around $4.2 billion, and that is for the 21 million Sudanese people that are residing in the Sudan. But since until now, only a small fraction has been funded so far. Now, this is not just a Sudanese problem. Other countries have their roles in this war too. Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and UAE have all tried to influence what happens in Sudan. Why? Because Sudan is strategically important. It is rich in resources, it is on the Red Sea, and has influence over the Nile waters. All these countries have backed different sides, so in a way that benefits them. At the same time, world's big humanitarian institutions like the United Nations, World Food Programme, and many others are under pressure to act. But they're caught in between, pushing for peace and negotiating the access. What could happen in the coming months, and why should the world care? There are few possible scenarios. First of all, the war drags on and Sudan fragments. Local military groups take over and creating more chaos and instability. Refugees start fleeing over to the nearby countries, putting burden on their resources. A peace deal might struck, but without any strong guarantees, this could be broken again. Why does this all matter globally? Because the collapse of Sudan could affect the whole region. Refugee flows, food insecurity, and the armed forces do not respect the border. Whatever happens in Sudan will have ripple effect across Africa and even further. So, what can we do? How can we help? First, we need more attention on Sudan, more media coverage, political pressure, and support for aid. UN has launched a multi-billion-dollar appeal but still needs funding, $6 billion to support Sudan and its neighboring countries. Secondly, we could help and support the humanitarian organizations working on the ground, giving them food aid, medical aid, and financial aid as well. And finally, share accurate information. Talk about Sudan, educate your viewers, and keep pushing your leaders to keep demanding peace and prosperity for Sudan. Sudan's story is not about war. It's the story about the people, the families, the mothers, and the children struggling and caught amid a crisis not of their making. Sudan deserves our full attention. Let us all pray and do whatever we can to help people of Sudan and bring back peace and solidarity in Sudan.